Today is Tuesday, November 11th, 10:52 a.m. of 2025. I'm recording right now because I'm getting some insights, and one of the biggest is that when it comes to service-based businesses, professional services, or even some more personal services, but more of that direct to consumer service. I would say more of the hands-on service work. So a lawyer, a masseuse, coach, dermatologist, not dermatologist, but esthetician, lashes. These are services that people pay for, right? And you can see some of these services out in the open. You can see a nail shop, right? You can see that. And some people will go to that location just because of proximity, or they might go for price, or because of the quality, whatever may have you. So we're talking about business right now. And I had this big takeaway right now where I was evaluating some of the decisions I made and who I worked with for accomplishing some of my goals. It didn't necessarily net me the results in the time that I wanted, and it didn't go how I was hoping it would go. But I was able to understand that there were takeaways from these experiences. And those takeaways are that things went exactly how it was supposed to. I never went with my cousin to be my realtor because I thought she was the best realtor ever. I don't say that with disrespect. I say that because I chose her because I like my cousin. I care about my cousin. She's always looked out for me. When I was planning to be an agent, she told me I could always reach out to her if I needed support. And I appreciated that. So little things like that went a long way for me. And with that, I wanted her to have the opportunity to help me sell my home so that she could make more money, and of course she could help me sell my home. So in my head, it was all just gonna go perfect. And unfortunately, the home took a lot longer to sell. There were 3 deals on the table, and then 3 deals that didn't go through, and it was the fourth that was the charm, which was insane and chaotic and challenging, but it happened. The home was sold, and you know, she was able to get compensated for it, and obviously we were able to accomplish the goal of selling the home. So I got what I wanted out of the situation. She did as well. It just didn't go how we wanted it to go, and there were moments where I wondered, oh, is there a lack of experience at play here and whatnot, and blah blah blah, and oh, should I have gone with someone more experienced, when it comes to something like a home, right? That's a big deal. And so I told myself, well, what was the goal to begin with? The goal was, I wasn't thinking about this from the perspective of, oh, I'm going with the absolute greatest agent of all time. I went into this with the idea that, hey, my cousin's an agent. She's sold homes. She's helped people buy homes. She has experience. She's been doing it for some years now. So it's not like I'm helping her get her first deal, but hey, she's getting the deal. And ultimately, it's family helping out family. So in thinking about that, to me, it was the right win-win situation there. And so what I told myself is that though the monetary value that I was hoping to obtain and in the timely manner that I was hoping that it would be done, though those things did not happen, we did sell a home, and it was a very big learning experience for me, and it was also a very big learning experience for my cousin. And that's where that value is, and what she was able to learn and what I was able to learn, and ultimately how we were able to apply that moving forward. And so though the results weren't quite what I was hoping for up front, what we end up taking away from the experience, what we learn from the experience, could hold so much more value. It could hold so much more value. And that is worth more than simply maximizing the transaction. Because this wasn't just about getting a deal done. This is about family helping family and all of us winning. And so this made me think about when I did the same thing with my friend. He was my website developer. And same thing, we had an understanding and we had an idea of what would happen, how it would happen, how long it would take. And things took a lot longer. The process was not smooth by any means, but the results were fantastic at the end, right? And so, and what I mean by that, the finished product was fantastic. I love my website, but man, getting there was not, and it just wasn't what I imagined. I'm sure it wasn't what he imagined. And that was another situation where I told myself, man, I'm sitting here trying to, feed my family, feed my friends, and I have them help me out. But these situations haven't been the best when working together. And initially, up until this point, I told myself in the future, I'm just going to go with people more experienced. But I look at it a little bit deeper now. I look at it as, guess what? We all learned, we all took something away, we all benefited in the end. And at the end of the day, it was all about family helping family out. For what my friend did on the website and how he helped me for the website, someone could have easily charged more for what he delivered for me. And then, as it pertains to my cousin, I mean, I know I could have gone with other agents, but, I think that I'm just happy that we were able to close and we were able to win together and learn from it. Again, I learned a lot, and she learned a lot. And now she's more experienced, and now I'm more experienced. And that's what I think about when I think about my services and what I'm going to offer people. People are getting me right here, right now, where I'm at today. And the goal is only to get better with time, with more experience. And as you get better with more time and more experience, you can offer more value. And because you can offer more value, you can receive more value, right? You can charge more for your services, and you can receive more value back from clients and in terms of money and etc. So, but how do you get there? You get there through experiences. And how do you get the experiences? You get there through people having trust and faith and belief in you, to choose you, to give you the opportunity to help you achieve the results, but win and grow along the way. They're probably not thinking all these things, but now that's how I see it. I see it deeper. These experiences have helped me grow. They have helped them grow. They're helping all of us grow. Now we're better at what we do. Now we can better do this, that, and the other. Now we can better analyze this, that, and the other. Now we can have a better idea of how we want to approach A, B, and C, right? And a lot of that came from these tougher experiences, these rougher experiences. And so through those struggles, there was progress. And through those struggles, there was growth. And through that, you become better. You're able to learn from it. You have the opportunity to learn from it and grow from it and be better. And that's where the value is. And the other part that I wanted to talk about was the relationship factor. Trust. Why did I go with them? Because they are friends, they are family. Wow, I made a decision about things that are important to me, not necessarily based on reputation and complete years of experience and just feeling like, oh, that person's the best at what they do. I didn't think about that. I thought they would do a great job from what they know, from what I know about them, and their family, their friends, I care about them, and so I would love to support them, and I would love for them to support me. And so when we think about services, there's so much to go around. People are going to make decisions based on trust. There are so many people that do taxes. People are going to go to someone that they trust. Family, friends, and then those friends and family will tell other family and friends. And the next you know, this person has a lot of work. Why? Because somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. And now this person has a lot of work. And it's those years of experience that add up. The situations, the learning lessons from it all. And then all of a sudden, you say, wow, yeah, I'm 10 years in the business, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. And more times than not, people are going to be sitting pretty because they learned and they grew through all those different scenarios and situations and circumstances where somebody else put their faith and trust in them to deliver a service. And clearly the people have done a good enough job of growing and getting better in their services to be able to sustain it long term. And those opportunities are everywhere. Again, a tax person, a lawyer. If somebody were to say, hey, do you know a lawyer, blah, 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 blah. They're not saying, hey, who's the best lawyer in Arizona? Hey, who's the best? Some people are thinking that way because they got the money like that. So they're not even thinking about friends and family necessarily. So who is the best? Right? Well, so-and-so has the best reputation. And so they're demanding top dollar and they're giving top dollar. But for most people, people aren't saying, hey, who is the best tax accountant? Who is the best realtor? Hey, do you know the best car salesman? It's not that. It's, do you know somebody? Do you know a lawyer? Hey, do you know a coach? Do you know someone that does A, B, C, D, E, F, G? And then someone will go, oh yeah, oh my cousin, oh my this, or oh yeah, oh you should talk to, right? And then it's who knows that person to connect them to that person. What is this all about? Relationships and trust. How do you build that? That's the key. That's the key. Building relationship and trust, but building relationships. How do people know you? Right? How do people know I'm a coach? There are some people that are known because of their billboards are out here in these streets. And all of a sudden people are like, man, I see this person so much, I feel like I know them. Trust. So guess what? When they need somebody for that service, who do they call? That person on that billboard, because they've seen that person so many times. They've seen the face. They don't even know the person. They probably never even heard that person speak, but they've seen the billboard so much that they associate that service with that person now, and they just call that number. Trust, right? Trustworthiness. Warmth versus cold, right? Do you know somebody? Do you know someone? That's a warm lead. Hey, I was recommended to you by so and so. That's a warm lead. That's hot. That's, ooh, you're probably gonna do business together unless things just go really bad in your conversation, right? But cold is just randomly calling someone about your service and just hoping that they're gonna want it, right? That's cold, right? Cold is telling people about your services at a bar while you're just hanging out talking and you're just hoping that one of them wants one of your services. That's cold, right? That's a cold lead, is what they call it. So again, relationships. There are so many real estate agents. There are so many lawyers. And guess what? Everybody is getting business. Why? Just because somebody knows them. And somebody that knows that person that knows that person and that knows that person, that now all of a sudden this person's got a lot of business. They got business through family, friends. They got business through the cousin. Now they got business through that person's family, friends, cousins. And, you know, it's like, oh, 3 years in business, 5 years in business, now 10 years in business. Now you got a reputation, right? When you get to the point of building the reputation, now you're doing pretty well. You can be more selective about who you take on, and then you can charge more for your time because you're in demand. And so you say, well, I can't support everybody, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise my prices, and then some people might not want to work with me anymore, but guess what? Those people that appreciate my work and my service and just want to keep that continuity and keep the relationship going, they're going to pay that extra fee, the upcharge, the price increase. And then the person's like, great, cool. I'm doing the same that I've been doing, but my money has just doubled because each client is paying me that much more money. And wow, now all of a sudden my income has just. And so that can happen in so many different directions. Real estate, I was thinking about real estate. I could have crushed it in real estate. My brother alone knows so many people. You know how many people he would have sent me by now if I would have decided to be an agent and stuck with it? I got the license, but I didn't stick with it. But do you know how busy I'd be right now? There are so many agents out there, right? And guess what? I go on social media and all these people are talking about sold, bought home, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, all of you are eating. Why? Because people are not typically saying, well, who's the best this and who's the best that and who's the best this. There are some. But when you're demanding the best, you got to be prepared to pay the best. Not everybody can pay the best. So the people that are asking those questions are few and far between. A lot of people are saying, I need this. Do you know someone that does this, right? And then that's who they go with. So a person just got to get themselves out there, right? Network, get your name out there. Now people know who you are. Now somebody needs it. Now your service, now they're saying, hey, I know somebody that could use your service, right? And then that person brings you someone, and then that person works with you, and then they love their experience. They tell other people, and it's a ripple effect. So you can increase these warm leads by making yourself warm. And how do you make yourself warm? You make yourself present. And how do you make yourself present? Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. How much money and time are you willing to invest? Right? There's paying for billboards, there's paying for commercials, there's paying for ads, right? There's on social media, on TV, streaming, radio, you name it. So there's a lot of different ways to get yourself seen where people decide, okay, I want to work with this person. I need that service. As far as time is concerned, obviously you have to allocate time to figure this stuff out. Maybe you have to do a video or a shoot or this or that. And so that takes time, energy, right? But more more specifically to the warm lead aspect, it's getting yourself out into these communities. It's going to these networking events and making these actual connections in person. Maybe you're doing community service. Maybe you are hosting workshops or are helping out at workshops, presenting, going to conferences. Now all of a sudden, you do all these things in a week, in a day, or a month, and a lot more people know who you are and what your service is. Right? Now a lot more people know who you are and what your service or services are. And guess what? Now those people are going to reach out to you or send somebody, recommend somebody to you. And now you got more business. Now you got more clients. Now you got more connection. Now you got more money. And now you just keep growing because word of mouth is going to help it continue to spread because it's always going to be, do you know somebody? And you want people to say your name. And guess what? You might live in a small town. Obviously, you're competing with other people in that small town. Okay, if there is anybody that's doing that, if nobody else is doing that, you got that on lock. You run that. You run that town. If you provide that one service and it's an essential service and nobody else does it, you run that town. But obviously, you're you're also subjected to the economic situation in that town. And what I mean by that is you might be the only one, and so you might feel like, yeah, I can control this. But guess what? The people have to have the money. And is this an essential service or is this a want? Right? If you're the only one that does eyelashes in the town, that's not necessarily an essential service. It's a service, but it's not essential. An essential service might be closer to being like a doctor, being a lawyer, probably, someone that can support people in the town. Or it could also be a dentist, right? People are going to need certain services that it's either you get there by somebody or of course you're going to have to leave town to go get it. And that's what I mean. If you provide a service that only you offer, chances are the business will go to you unless you don't provide something that's essential, or the town doesn't have the funds to be able to pay for what you charge or what you would like to charge, so you got to charge less. So those are the other factors involved. Someone might say, oh, well, I can control this town and I can charge this much because I'm the only one that does it. But you have to look at the people's financial situations. If that town's got money and you're the only one who does it and people actually would want that, landmine. Landmine. Right? And so that's the thing. That's just a town. What about if we shift over to a city? Well, guess what? More opportunity, right? More people. That tends to also mean more competition. So now we have to figure out, how do we get people to want to choose you? Well, it's still going to be about who knows what you do to be able to get them to you. So again, it's putting yourself in those spaces. That's part of that target audience. Putting yourself in those spaces. You see, if I have services that are intended for children, I should go to an event where there are parents. The children can't buy my products, the parents can, the grandparents can. So I need to put myself in spaces where there are parents, grandparents. Well, what types of events would there be? Well, parent-teacher conferences, potentially, right? A lot of times people are trying to get in and get out, but it could be at concert, shows, events. You're promoting these other services because it's for them, and that's where you're going to see some of these crowds. You're going to see the children, and you might see the parents. And again, the parents are the ones that tend to have the money, right? So thinking about children's museum, all right? The kids aren't going to typically be there by themselves unless they're teenagers. There's typically going to be accompanied by a parent. So you want to put yourself in these spaces where you can actually connect with these people. And so marketing and clients and connecting with people, it can seem so complicated, but when you strip it down, it could also be very simple. At the end of the day, do you have a service? Do people know about it? What do they know about it? And how many people are you trying to help? How many people can you help? What do you do with those you can't? Do you eventually outgrow? Do you now need a team? And that's what happens sometimes, is people grow so much and they say, man, I can't just be giving up all these leads. Let me build a team. Now, some of these people don't work with me, but I get someone that I really like, I really trust, and now they're reaching out to other people that they know to say, do you want to join my team? I got leads for you. I can't take them on my own. They'll go to you, and obviously that's that person's firm or that person's business, so they're gonna get a cut, but the other person's still gonna get a decent cut. You know, it just depends on what the service is, right? And that's how you start getting into ownership and management, and again, building a team. You know, and it could be a one-person team, it could be a two-person team, it could be three, it could be four. Obviously, as the more you add, the more complex things can get. Then there's more laws, there's more rules, there's more regulation, there's insurance, there's all these other factors, right? Now you got to level up your tax person. Now you got to go, oh man, I need someone that can help me manage all these things, right? Hey, the person I've been going to, I don't know if they can manage all of this, right? And now you start saying, do I know someone that can, and then all of a sudden you start reaching out, and it just goes up, right? But the key here is, how are you getting yourself in front of people? There's more than enough lawyers to go around. You're going to have an opportunity. Why? Because there's too many people out here that need those services, and because the needs are there, they're going to need somebody. And it's just a matter of, can you get people to say your name, to recommend you? How are they going to do that? Well, people have to know you exist. Well, how are people going to know I exist? Well, what's my network now? Is it great? Awesome. Start with your network. Let people know what you're doing, right? Network's not great? All right, you need to build your network. How can you do that? All right, well, how's your social media? Are you active on social media? How active are you on social media? How active are you in public as a person? Are you in the community? Are you going to events? Are you networking? Are you getting your name out there? Are you getting yourself out there so that people actually know who you are and what you're doing? You do those things, people are going to know who you are, and they're going to go to you, and they may not know that you're the best or not. They just know that you do that, and hey, they met you and you seem like a nice person, and they were willing to give you a shot. Why not? Price was right. They were able to work with each other, and you figured something out. Boom. Why not? And then you just stay with it, and then all of a sudden you have loyal customers that just stay with you, and then they tell other people, and then things just grow. There's a lot of different ways to do this for yourself, right? You can start a landscaping business and then do all this. And some of those are easier to be hands off, right? There's a lot of people that have the skills to do landscaping work. You just need the business, and then obviously now you go get the clients. And you need the equipment, and then you need the people, unless you're going to do it yourself. And you can start doing it yourself, but then you can easily go find people that are willing to do the work. And you keep a good amount of the profit, they do the work, and then you keep building it. And that's the thing, that's building a business, making it profitable, and then trying to make it sustainable, scaling it up, and all this good stuff. But there are so many different paths to take to reach really great end results. It's all in doing those little things, taking it one step at a time, thinking about the process, and just continuing to take steps in those directions and staying with it. And if you stay with it, you will achieve great results. It's not about looking at this as a short term, as a get rich quick scheme. It's about looking at the long term and letting it grow like a garden, watching it flourish, watching it grow, and building something beautiful. And now you create a beautiful life for yourself, and you're providing these beautiful services, and you're supporting a lot of people, and you're helping people because now you have a team, and you're able to pay them to support themselves and support a family and support what they got to do. And there's just a ripple effect with all of this, and it's possible in so many ways. It's all about what you want, how you want to get there, but it's possible. So this was marketing. This is thinking about advertising. This is thinking about building businesses. This is thinking about mindset shifts. There's a lot of goodness in this podcast episode. So I hope you were able to take something in a way. I could go on forever, but I feel like this is a really good stop point. Yeah, when I think about service-oriented businesses, I think, wow, there are opportunities everywhere, because when I think about Phoenix, we're so big. Right? People need a lot of these different services. It's all about just making sure they know that you are an option. And it's thinking about how you can do that. Right? And if you're delivering a bad service, why? How can you learn and grow from that? Are you willing to do what it takes to grow and learn from that? And then getting better. Right? But hey, as long as people know that you offer that service, and hopefully someone's willing to give you another shot, or someone else is willing to give you a shot, then you still have that opportunity to make it happen. right? When we think about ratings, 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. People pay attention to ratings. I pay attention to ratings. But guess what? Most businesses don't have a 5-star. Some businesses have a 4, some have a 4.2, 4.5, 3.8, 3.2, 2.5. I try to steer clear of the 2s and the 1s, and that's for sure. And if I can avoid the 3s, but and then again, I'll check them out, but I'm going to read the reviews, and that's going to tell me, oh, this is where you're at with how you operate your business. And I could support some folk, but at the same time, I also want to make sure, am I paying good value for what I'm getting back in return? And especially when you have choices, you have other choices, then I might say, hey, I'm gonna pay about the same, but I'm gonna get more value here for my time and for what I'm paying. So I might go in this other direction. But again, there will always be people that can give you a shot, potentially, depending on what your service is. And that's always a new opportunity to grow and learn. And then at some point, it's who cares that you have a 2.9 or a 3.5? You have so many clients that you build over the years that it doesn't stop you from still doing what you do. And that doesn't mean you don't care. I think you should always strive to provide the best service you can and grow and learn and just build up, right? And whatnot. But what it does mean is that, this isn't about getting it right the first time. This isn't about perfection. This is about being committed to the process. This is about being committed to the journey and understanding that over time you will achieve results. And this has parallels in so many other aspects of life, growing in relationships. This could apply to savings and investings and saving and investing accounts. This could be about so many things, working on your craft, being an athlete, achieving the highest pinnacles, getting championships, getting gold medals, etc., etc. There's so many different ways to get here. But again, there's a process involved, there's a journey, and where there's a will and determination, there's a way. So there's a lot to take away from today's session, I hope. I sure enjoyed just being able to talk about this and unpacking all this. And so I hope that you take something away that you can unpack, that you can apply. And if you do, feel free to let me know. And also, feel free to share this with others. Again, sharing that information. Do you know someone that, hey, listen to this, right? And so there's so many ways for us to be able to spread all the goodness that we can offer in this world. It's all about, do you put it out there for people to know that it even exists? Are you doing those things, or are they just ideas? That's a whole different conversation. It always starts with an idea, and then it leads to action, and then you can make these things happen, and that's just life. But anyways, like I said, I'll save that for a different podcast. For today, again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Much love, peace and love. Praise be to God. And this is exactly why I need to get myself and my services out there. As people know what I offer, who I am, what I'm about, and then connect with it, it will help create a ripple effect. And so it's not a matter of this happening. It will happen, but I have to make it happen. And that means going ahead and doing the things that I mentioned in this recording. And I've started that process, but it's continuing that process. And that's what I'm striving towards. That's what my goals are. And so with that, I'm very hopeful. I'm very excited for what's to come. Very, very excited for what's to come. This is amazing. This is me truly tapping into my marketing skills. It's something I think that I've always had a natural curiosity and interest towards, and I'm seeing how that curiosity and interest is helping me figure this out. It's really exciting, and I'm even more excited to share this with people. I really am.